When we speak of Christianity, our mind's eye often turns to Rome, Constantinople or medieval Europe. But east of Jerusalem, a no less grand and dramatic saga unfolded. The history of Christianity in Asia is 2 millennia of amazing paths, unexpected turns, cultural synthesis, and steadfast faith. It's a story few know. Today, we will walk this path from its very origins to the present day, from the Middle East to the Pacific Islands, to see how faith in Christ took root, survived and flourished on Earth's largest continent. It all began here, in Christianity's homeland. Already in the 1st century, following the apostles, the faith quickly spread beyond Judea. In Damascus, Antioch and Edessa, strong communities emerged, speaking Aramaic and its literary form, Syriac. These were not mere offshoots of Greco-Roman Christianity, but an independent, powerful branch, Syriac Christianity. Churches, like the Assyrian Church of the East, with their deep theological tradition, became a missionary engine. Their merchants and monks moved along the Great Silk Road, carrying the faith into Mesopotamia, Persia, and beyond. Despite later persecutions by the Sassanid Empire, and then the radical upheavals with the advent of Islam in the 7th century, these ancient communities survived. Today, having entered modern conflicts, they are living relics of the earliest Christian expansion, guardians of the language spoken by Jesus. While in the Middle East Christians were a minority, a breakthrough occurred in the Caucasus. In 301 AD, Armenia under King Tiridates III, and thanks to the preaching of Gregory the Illuminator, became the world's first state to adopt Christianity as its official religion. This was an act of spiritual and political independence from Zoroastrian Persia. The creation of the Armenian alphabet by Mesrop Mashtots in 5th century allowed for the translation of the Bible and the development of a rich national literature, which became a shield of identity. In Georgia, Christianity was established almost simultaneously, around 327 AD, thanks to Saint Nino of Cappadocia. The conversion of King Mirian led to the construction of the first churches. Like Armenia, Georgia created its own alphabet and a deeply national church tradition. Both peoples entered centuries of foreign invasions, Arab, Mongol, Ottoman, Persian, but their faith, intertwined with national identity, became an unbreakable core. Today, the Orthodox churches of Georgia and Armenia are the main spiritual and cultural centers of their nations. Legend holds that the Apostle Thomas arrived in India in 52 AD. While historical proof is lacking, it is undeniable that by the 3rd-4th centuries, organized Christian communities existed on the Malabar coast, in modern-day Kerala. They were founded by Syrian merchants. These St. Thomas Christians, or Syrian Christians, lived in harmony with the Hindu majority, adopted the caste structure, and became an influential trading community. They were under the jurisdiction of the Church of the East, based in Persia. In the 16th century, with the arrival of the Portuguese, an era of upheaval began. Catholic missionaries tried to Latinize the rite, leading to a schism. Part of the community entered into union with Rome, the Syro-Malabar Catholic Church, while part remained independent, the Malankara Orthodox Syrian Church. In the 19th century, British Protestant missionaries arrived, causing further divisions. Despite this, the Christians of Kerala, constituting about 20% of the state's population, remain a prosperous, educated, and influential part of Indian society, preserving ancient Syriac traditions in the heart of the Hindu world. In 635 AD, the monk Elopan from the Church of the East arrived in the Tang dynasty capital Chang'an. Emperor Taizong issued an edict of tolerance, and Jinzhao, the luminous religion, began to spread. Testimony to this is the famous Nestorian stele from 781 AD. Christianity adapted using Buddhist and Taoist terms. However, 9th century persecutions led to its near-total disappearance. Christianity's second coming is associated with the Jesuits in the 16th century. Matteo Ricci, having studied the Chinese language and Confucian classics, proposed a strategy of cultural adaptation leading to success among the intellectual elite. But the Chinese rites controversy whether to allow ancestor veneration led to the Pope banning the mission in the 18th century. In the 19th century, Christianity returned with Western missionaries, but was often associated with colonialism. After the 1949 revolution, all foreign missionaries were expelled. State-controlled patriotic associations, Catholic and Protestant, were established. Underground house churches continued to exist. Today, despite strict state control and periodic persecutions, Christianity in China, by some estimates, numbers tens of millions of believers, remaining one of the fastest growing religions. The uniqueness of Korean Christianity lies in it being imported by the Korean intelligentsia itself. In the 18th century, Confucian scholars visiting Beijing brought back Jesuit Catholic works in Chinese. They studied them independently, were baptized, and brought the faith to their homeland. The first community emerged without a single foreign missionary. However, severe persecutions by the Joseon dynasty, which saw Christianity as undermining the state's foundations, soon followed. Thousands were executed, including the first Korean priests. In the late 19th century, after the country opened up, Protestant missionaries from the USA arrived. They built schools, hospitals, and translated the Bible into spoken Korean, promoting literacy and national awakening. Christianity became associated with modernization. The Korean War and subsequent poverty strengthened the role of churches as centers of aid and community life. The result? Explosive growth, especially in Protestantism. Today, about 30% of South Koreans are Christians. Korean churches are among the largest and most missionary active in the world, sending thousands of missionaries, including to the very countries from which the faith once came. The Spanish colonization of the Philippines, beginning with Magellan in 1521, had a total religious character. The Augustinian, Franciscan, and Jesuit orders, following the conquistadors, systematically converted the local population, building churches at the center of new settlements. Christianity was imposed, but also deeply assimilated, synthesizing with the animist beliefs of the ancestors. A unique, emotional, and communal Filipino Catholicism was born. After gaining independence in 1946, the Church remained the most powerful social force, playing a key role of the People Power Revolution of 1986. Today, the Philippines is the third largest Catholic country in the world. Christianity was brought to Vietnam by the Portuguese and French in the 16th-17th centuries. Its path was bloody. Rulers saw it as a threat to the Confucian order. Over 300 years, tens of thousands of Christians and missionaries were executed. These martyrs became a symbol of resilience. French colonization in the 19th century strengthened Catholicism, but also linked it with the colonizers. After the communists came to power in 1975, the church faced severe restrictions. However, with the Domini policy of the renovation in the late 80s, a revival began. Today, Vietnam is one of the most dynamic Catholic communities in Asia, where faith is closely intertwined with ancestor veneration. The history of Christianity in Papua New Guinea is a story of mission under extreme conditions. Until the mid-20th century, many inland tribes lived in a Stone Age context, with ritual cannibalism and intertribal warfare. The first Protestant missionaries from the Langdon Missionary Society arrived on the coast in the 1870s. The breakthrough came in the 1930s, when brave missionaries used planes to penetrate mountain valleys, establishing first contacts. They risked their lives, but their work, often involving creating writing systems for pre-illiterate languages, providing medical aid, and ending tribal conflicts, transformed the region. Catholic and other Protestant missions followed their lead. After gaining independence in 1975, Christianity became a unifying force for hundreds of different tribes. Today, about 95% of Papua New Guinea's population identifies as Christian. The faith is vibrant, emotional, and closely intertwined with local culture. The church here is the center of not only spiritual, but also social and educational life. It is an example of the most recent and one of the most successful evangelizations in history. From ancient Aramaic communities that survived empires to mountain fortresses of faith in the Caucasus, from the legendary Apostle Thomas in India to the forgotten stele in China, from the intellectual discovery in Korea to the colonial synthesis in the Philippines and the martyrs' witness in Vietnam, and finally, to the recent miracle in the jungles of Papua. Christianity in Asia is not a monolith. It is a rich mosaic of traditions, rites, and stories, each unique. It is a religion that arrived with merchant caravans, on conquistadors' ships, in scholars' suitcases, and on the wings of small planes. It endured centuries of persecution and flourished in times of peace. It became part of national identity and a means of cultural dialogue. The history of Christianity in Asia is the story of how a universal message found a home in the most diverse hearts and cultures, creating an astonishing, multifaceted and living heritage that continues to grow and change today.